Welcome to Books I Make My Husband Read, a self-described hilarious and heartfelt podcast where I, Kristy, the devoted book lover, curate an unexpected reading list for my husband, John.
And that's me. In each episode, we dive into lively discussions, humorous debates, and unexpected insights on all the books Kristy just has to make me read.
We're here to explore everything from your book club favorites to quirky hidden gems, challenging our perspectives and inviting you to join in on the fun.
So, settle in, grab your favorite beverage, and get ready for another literary adventure.
Hello, listeners, and welcome to Season 4, Episode 3 of Books I Make My Husband Read. I'm your host, Kristy.
And I'm John. I'm the co-host, the one that Kristy forces to read all of the books.
You don't have to say it like that.
All of them. Actually, not even close to all of them.
No, not even close. You're lucky.
I know, for reals.
Well, if you missed our first 2 episodes this season, you may not know that this season actually has a theme. Each book that we discuss this season also has a film adaptation, so we'll be discussing both the book and the film. And this week, we'll be diving into People We Meet on Vacation by Emily Henry. This book is a slow burn friends to lovers romance about timing, miscommunication, and the vacations that quietly change everything. And of course, we'll also be discussing the film, which was released last month on Netflix.
Indeed. Well, this was a different rom-com, I felt like. So I'm excited to share my thoughts on this one and how I took it a little bit differently than some of the other ones you've forced upon me.
I don't know that we've had a friends to lovers trope before, so
Oh, well, that could be why then, maybe. Yeah.
maybe that's why it felt different. But
Yeah.
why did I pick this book for John? Well, I knew that we were going to do film adaptations. I knew this was coming out on Netflix. I was very excited to see the adaptation. And I hadn't read this book in a few years. John has enjoyed the other Emily Henry books that we have read. And he also has really loved the rom-coms in general. So I thought this one was cute. I remember really liking it and the characters, and I thought it was a lot of fun. And so I thought it would just be a great pick for the season.
Great pick. It was. And you were pushing me pretty hard, like, finish this book so I can watch the film.
I wanted to watch it. It had been out for like a month.
Yes,
I kept seeing all the promotion and things on like Emily Henry's Instagram and just like constantly popping up. And I was like, I want to see this. It looks so cute. And I don't know, just the aesthetic of the film and the promos that went out, I thought were really fun looking. So I love Poppy's wardrobe in the film. So
indeed. But before we get into our full-blown convo, we wanted to let everyone know what the next 2 books / movies Kristy is forcing me to read, which are going to be Regretting You by Colleen Hoover and a classic again, The Great Gatsby by F. Scott Fitzgerald.
Yes, and a couple people have asked me which of the Gatsby films we are going to watch. And in my head, I thought we would watch the one with Leonardo DiCaprio and Carey Mulligan, but who knows? Maybe we'll also watch the Robert Redford one too. I know there's even at least 2 films that were made before that one. I feel like it's kind of like one of those films that gets redone every 20 to 30 years, like A Star is Born.
A Star is Born.
There's like a million of those.
Yes, true. Well, if the snow continues to stick around, I guess we'll have nothing better to do with our time than watch all these movies. So maybe we can just get, into all of them.
Yeah.
And before we get into this week's book and movie combo, we also want to remind everyone that you can keep up with us and all of our shenanigans on TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube. We're on YouTube.
Shenanigans are right. And if you're enjoying the show, please rate and review us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you happen to be listening today.
Well, this is the part of the episode where we get into our spoiler-free book summary.
All right. Poppy and Alex are best friends who couldn't be more different. Poppy is restless, adventurous, and always choosing the next experience, while Alex is quiet, thoughtful, and happiest staying close to home with a good book. Despite living in different cities for most of the year, they've maintained their friendship through one constant tradition: a week-long vacation together every summer, a ritual that has anchored their relationship for a decade.
The story moves between those past trips, each one revealing a little more closeness, tension, and unspoken feelings, and the present, where Poppy and Alex haven't spoken in 2 years. Something went wrong on their last vacation, and whatever happened fractured the friendship entirely. Now, living in New York and feeling unexpectedly stuck, Poppy realizes that the last time she was truly happy was during those summers with Alex.
Driven by that realization, Poppy reaches out and convinces Alex to take one final trip together. As they revisit familiar patterns and confront the silence that's grown between them, the story begins to fill in the emotional gaps: missed chances, fears of ruining what they already have, and years of feelings that were easier to ignore than to name.
What unfolds is less about a single vacation and more about the accumulation of time. How small moments build intimacy, how miscommunication can stretch for years, and how loving someone deeply doesn't always mean knowing how or when to choose them. Well, that's the spoiler-free book summary. All right, folks, this is the part of the episode where I give you a warning where from this point forward, we're talking about all the spoilers of the book and the film. So if you don't want any spoilers, grab your passport, get on a jet plane, and fly on out of here.
That was a good one. All right, let's get into some of these questions. What did you think of our main characters, Poppy and Alex? Love them, hate them? Were they easy to root for?
It was a really interesting dynamic between Alex and Poppy. I liked both of their personalities in the book. They came through pretty clearly and pretty easy to picture or to relate to some degree. I would say they were easy to root for. Neither one of them had like traits that were
that annoyed
really
you?
Obnoxious or really annoyed me, like some of the other books you've had me read. And I don't know what it is about these books or these rom-coms, but some of the characters and some of the things that these characters are going through hit so close to home.
I got some questions about that.
It's bonkers. Like if some of the listeners go back and listen to some of the other episodes on these rom-coms, I'm like, yeah, I can totally relate to that. It's pretty amazing how relatable all these characters, or not, I shouldn't say all these characters, but how relatable these particular characters were, and both of them for different reasons, I think. So right. I enjoyed them. I enjoyed both of them in the book. And as I kind of tipped at the top of the episode, they were a little bit different, or Alex in particular, I think, was a little bit different in this rom-com than some of the other rom-coms. He wasn't like, he just was portrayed a little more normal, I would say, and wasn't like a super hunk or wasn't like super smart or like, a doctor.
I mean,
or whatever.
he had a PhD.
I know. I'm not saying
I realize that does not
but
make you smart, but it means you've read a lot of books. That's what.
Yeah. You know what I mean, though? Like,
yes.
I'm not calling he's like dumb or anything, obviously, but some of the books definitely portray these guys as.
I know what you're saying.
Like a next level dreamy kind of thing. And I get it. It's a rom-com. And this one, right. Alex just felt way more realistic and like relatable. So I appreciated that about the book.
I want to comment on what you said about these books just resonating with you. And I think it's because I have chosen ones that are like multifaceted and they visit relationships or feelings or things going on in people's lives that they're dealing with outside of the romance. Like the romance is a part of the book, obviously, but there's also family dynamics and other relationships and grief and drama and like things that we are dealing with on a regular basis. And I think that's what makes these books so special, because we're not in a fantasy world. We're not somewhere with magic. Like we're not trying to overthrow a corrupt government. Like we're in real life talking about real things. And a lot of us can see ourselves in those places with those people dealing with those things. And I think that's what makes some of these books so special.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, we're not personally trying to throw a corrupt government out of office, but
but we're not trying to do
that. We're not trying to. Anyway, carry on. What were your thoughts on these characters?
Yeah, I loved Poppy as a character. I want to be Poppy's friend. She's fun to be around. She's
She'll take you on free
energizing.
exotic trips.
Yeah, of course. Who doesn't want a friend who's going to take you on a free trip? I mean, goodness.
For reals.
I don't know if I'd want to go on the camping one personally, but I ironically had a dream last night that we went camping.
Oh, interesting.
I know, because sleeping outside is not a thing I do or want to do, but I digress. So I really enjoyed Poppy as a character, and I agree with you on Alex. Like, he just felt like this normal dude, and I appreciated that. And I thought they were really easy to root for. Like, I wanted good things for them. There was no point in the book where you're like, these people are driving me crazy. Like, the miscommunication, which we'll get into, drove me a little crazy, but they themselves as characters, I thought were great on the pages, and the dynamic between the two.
Agreed.
This book opens with Poppy's friend Rachel helping her realize that her discontent may be a lack of purpose. Poppy essentially has reached what were her younger self's career goals, and that can sometimes lead to discontent and depression. Did this strike a chord?
Nope. No
All right,
connection there whatsoever. Next question. Skip.
Okay, I have to say before
I answer anything.
Yeah, before you answer anything. Oh my gosh, I'm going to say this. I read this book a few years ago, and I don't remember having this feeling, but when I reread it to prepare, yes, I reread it. Yes, you're going to shame me about that. That's fine. As soon as I read this, I was like, oh my gosh, this is John. Because for so long, you had this goal of opening your own agency, doing your own thing, being your own boss, all those things a lot of people dream about. You did it. And I feel like since then, you've just been discontent with your work.
Oh, you can keep going. You're answering the question for me perfectly.
I know. I just want you to know what I felt reading it. Again, like what you're talking about when we were opening, that is so crazy how these things pop up and you're like, oh, shit.
Yeah.
I didn't need that to smack me in my face like that.
Exactly. It's like reading in a mirror or looking in a mirror, but you get what I mean.
Yeah.
It was so relatable. I mean, I personally like put so much effort and energy to reaching a goal from age 22 to 35 or 40, whatever it wound up being. I know it was before 40. But then, like you said, I reached it and it happened for a few years. And then, since then it's just been like a scramble. Like I'm missing a North Star, missing a purpose, if you want to call it that, or missing a guiding direction on professionally speaking.
Yeah.
So a lot of that, when I was reading this book and like relating to Poppy, it was just like, you're like chasing this thing and then you reach the thing and you're like, what's after the thing? And it's still a very big question mark for me. So
yeah, definitely. I mean, when you are hyper fixated or focused on something, and it doesn't even have to be, I think, career things for people. It could be other things that they're pursuing in their life. And then when that thing is gone or it passes or you get everything you wanted. Okay, what do I do now?
Yeah.
And Poppy's really struggling with that.
Yeah. And even, if you stop and think too, it's not just about like having a goal and achieving it. It might be something like, what I'm thinking about is some people like ourselves wanted to have kids or wanted to have a family, and then that doesn't happen. And then you have to still sort of come to that realization of like, what's next, even though like this may not have happened for us. So it was the whole topic was hyper relatable.
Yeah. I think the kids thing is even, super relatable, because I still have days and I'm like, okay, this is it. This is what it's going to be.
Yeah.
And it's not because I'm unhappy with our life. Like, I'm actually really happy with our life. But when you imagine it to be different, and then you get something else, you have days where you're like, okay, am I missing something?
Yeah. Yep. That's the biggest part for me too. Like,
Yep.
what am I missing?
Do you think Poppy and Alex were actually misunderstanding each other or understanding each other too well and avoiding the truth?
I think the way I would answer that is I think they both understood each other, but I think they both had a point of view of the other person that was holding them back from communicating how they really felt. She believed that he wanted, to live in Linfield and to have a family and to live kind of the quote unquote small suburban life. And he is like, she wants the big glamorous life. She wants the travel. And they, from the very beginning, they're like, we're not compatible.
Yeah.
And I think that seed just stuck and it kept them from actually like saying the things.
Yeah.
Because they were both thinking, well, I don't want to tell them this and then have them feel like I'm the reason I'm holding them back or not giving them what they really want or whatever, because they were on such different sides of the spectrum.
Right. There's nothing I disdain more than an overplayed miscommunication trope. And it was here in spades. For the reasons you're saying, that they have played the conversation in their heads that they would have with each other, and they already think they know where it's going to end up instead of having the conversation.
Right.
And that was frustrating in the book for me because I think a lot of people do that in general anyway. So it's not that I thought their behaviors in the book were frustrating. It's just like, that's frustrating for me because I'm like, have the fucking conversation.
Hmm.
Don't make
Yeah.
assumptions about what this person wants. And even if it's what that person wants, it is not for you to decide what that person would or wouldn't give up for something different to be with that person. Does that make sense? I mean,
Yeah.
Poppy talks about this in the book a little bit. And I actually think I have a similar question that when you watch The Bachelor, you're choosing a life with something. You're not just choosing a person. So we've said this before, like, we don't think that there's one person on earth that like each person is meant to be with. That like, that's ridiculous. But there are a lot of people you can be happy with, but it's a matter of like the circumstances in life, all those life things, but also like, what kind of life do you want? And sometimes the person you choose is a reflection of that more than that person is. Why are you
Yeah.
smiling?
I'm smiling because that's a perfect description of my first marriage.
Mm,
Like my first marriage was choice of like a picture of a lifestyle that I thought I wanted and allowed myself to be blinded by a lot of the other realities of the relationship itself. So yeah, that's why I'm smiling, because that also was very, resonating in my life experience.
yeah. Was there a specific pacification that felt like the emotional turning point for Alex and Poppy?
I mean, that would be Croatia. I mean, they just kept talking about
Mm,
Croatia as like the moment when it all ended, or it
yeah.
was the last trip that they took. That's the obvious answer. There's probably more, like micro breakdowns across each of the summers leading up to that, like when Alex was in a relationship with Sarah and the dynamic there. And that probably had to erode some of, or I shouldn't say erode, but maybe like widen the gap of what they thought was realistic for themselves. And so there were probably moments, but I would say, I mean, the obvious answer, that was Croatia. That was like the culmination of all that.
I also think that what was supposed to be the Norway trip, it was Norway, right? With
Oh
the
yeah,
ice,
with the ice castle,
ends up
ice
Poppy
hotel.
is, yeah, the ice hotel. Poppy's really sick and can't go. And Alex instead comes to help or take care of her in New York City.
Mm,
Because I think they both realize that I would rather be sick in New York City with you or taking care of you in New York City with you instead of in an ice castle at what I can only imagine is a beautiful place, although it
yeah.
sounds really cold.
just step outside right now and you
Yeah.
can be in a nice
No kidding.
ice
No
hotel.
kidding. So I think that they realize that, okay, actually, I mean, I think Alex is already there. And it's really hard to say this because, remember, this is a single point of view book. So we're only hearing from Poppy. So I think it's portrayed a little like Alex has fallen first and he's more, the one who keeps breaking up with Sarah and maybe wants something. But I think it's because we're not hearing from Alex.
Oh, that's interesting. I actually got the opposite point of view. I actually, reading it, I was like, oh, Poppy is the one falling first, and Alex is kind of the oblivious one of not letting it sink in and not realizing, like, she's way out of my league, or not. He's probably not thinking that, but like in that vein, like that's how I took it, of like, there's just no realistic chance of us being together. And so, but again, it could have been because it's from Poppy's point of view that I felt that way, but I got the sense that she fell before Alex did.
That's so interesting.
Maybe it's because I'm a dude reading it.
Maybe. Anyway, I think that the New York trip is the big, like, we can't ignore our feelings, and there's something more.
Yeah.
More. I don't want to say more here because that's obvious, but
yeah. I was also going to say that it's probably because, like, I'm also pretty oblivious to stuff like that. So it's very possible that I was just reading, reading as myself.
You totally are. Hello.
So, hello.
I love you.
Whoosh. Anyway, moving on.
Was there a moment where the relationship felt emotionally unfair to one of them?
Maybe. I don't really know how to. I don't really know how to answer that. I mean, my EQ isn't super high, so I don't really know that I would know how to answer that. So, what are your
I'm
thoughts?
curious because I read it like she's kind of oblivious that Alex is in love with her, even though she obviously has feelings for him too, which she's afraid of. And she doesn't want to live the life she thinks that Alex is determined on living, even though she hasn't talked to him about it. So I read it through the lens where there is a little bit where it felt a little emotionally unfair to Alex when he was so clearly in love with her. But I wonder if you felt differently because you read it as the opposite.
I did read it as the opposite. Yeah. Even hearing you talk about that point, I'm like,
you're like, no, that's not right at all.
That's not how I took it. That's not my interpretation at all. That she was the one that fell first and he was oblivious to it. And I think he said to her a bunch of times through the book that what seemed pretty clear of what he wanted. He wanted to settle down. He wanted to get married. He wanted to have kids. He wanted to move back to Linfield. Like he was pretty straightforward and upfront with that in different conversations. And so I could see how she would think, like, that's not, like, if that's what he wants, it's not going to work. Like, that's not what I want or whatever. So whether that was emotionally unfair or not, I don't really know, but that's how I took the narrative.
I mean, at the end, though, he's very clear, or I should say in Palm Springs, not the end, that he's like, I want you. I have wanted you. I don't know why that hasn't been painfully obvious to you. And she's the one who is grappling with, that decision. I don't think, not because she doesn't love him, but because she's afraid of what her life will look like.
Yeah. And I think there's a part of her too that doesn't know how to be loved like that. She talked about her high school experience and how that, like, really kind of emotionally traumatized her and her ability to trust in a relationship. So I'm sure that was playing a part in how she thought Alex saw her to some degree.
So it leads into the next question really well. What does the book say about happiness? Is it something you chase or something you build?
Oh, I think this book is pretty clearly that it's something that you build. She thought she was chasing happiness for most of her adult life and all of her professional aspirations and things like that. And then she finally reached them. She was still very clearly unhappy. So I think it's a pretty clear answer to that one, that it's something that you choose to build and not just like chase, and there it is all of a sudden.
Right. This is the question that I wrote, that I had the scene where they're in Croatia and Poppy brings up that she loves The Bachelor and the idea that like you are choosing a life with someone. And she specifically says so much of love is about who you are with someone. And I think that's what brings these two together. It's that, yeah, in some ways their fears were very real. Alex wants a more stable life. He wants maybe like what is, quote, a smaller life than Poppy wants. It doesn't make it less substantial in any means, but he
Desirable
wants,
or anything, yeah.
yeah, like he just wants a different type of life than she does. She wants to travel, and she wants, you know, she has this wanderlust, and she wants to be free in a way that she feels like being with Alex would tie her down in a way. But what instead I think both of them choose is that I want to be, what I want out of life is who I am when I am with you. And all those other things don't matter. The place we live, the jobs that we have, the scene, like whatever we do, it's just like I want this feeling that I have when I'm with you, and everything else is second. I can build a life around that.
Yeah. I agree.
All right, so we're going to transition to the film now. So if you have not seen this film, it is on Netflix. You can pause, definitely come back, but there are going to be spoilers, so you've been warned. Let's talk about the cast. Give me your thoughts. What did you think about who played Alex, who played Poppy?
I thought they were enjoyable.
That's how everyone wants to be described.
Yeah.
You're enjoyable.
You're enjoyable to look at and watch on screen. I thought they were portrayed very well. Alex's demeanor and costume design, we'll say, I thought was spot on and made him feel kind of
and mirrored your own wardrobe.
Mirrored my own. No, I don't wear khakis and in college sweatshirts. Anyway, I don't know why I thought I had a different visualization in my head for Poppy. I don't know how to describe it was different, but when I saw her on screen, it just didn't quite match. It wasn't bad. It wasn't like a mismatch in like an expectation, and just like it was just different. But I enjoyed her on screen. I thought her personality came off well, and yeah, and they were fun. Anyway, so reverse. Love the cast.
I like them. I don't know either of them from any other films or TV that they've been on. What?
I appreciated that, actually.
Yeah, same. Poppy, whoever the actor is that plays Poppy, is so freaking pretty. Makes me want to punch a baby. I mean, like she has the perfect freckles and I know, just like this glow to her skin.
True.
The only thing I think personally that it can improved Alex's appearance was if he wore glasses through like some of the film.
Oh, you wanted a Clark Kent.
Yeah, like he should have been wearing glasses.
I could see that.
But I like the cast, and I don't mean this poorly on this actor because he is objectively good looking, but he's not, like you were saying about when you read Alex in the book, he's not like over the top so good looking that
it's uncomfortable to look at.
Yeah, like my old dentist.
Yeah. Oh, Jesus. You remember him. He was uncomfortable to look at.
He was so handsome, and he really was. Yes, doctor. You felt it too, don't get me wrong.
I did. It was uncomfortable. I had to find a different dentist.
All right, so did the actors' chemistry match what you imagined while reading?
Yes and no. It's so different reading and having your own visualizations than it is like seeing someone else's interpretation of visualization. So what I mean by that is like I could feel the tension and chemistry on page. I think it felt more push-pull in the book, meaning that like you could sense that one person was feeling it, but the other person wasn't picking up on it, or vice versa. Where in the film, they had these like longing glances at one another where it was like so obvious that they're
Yeah.
both thinking the same thing. And I just didn't get the same tension there where it was like one person was feeling it at this moment and the other person was like missing it. I felt like they were both feeling it, and it was just portrayed a little too obviously, I think, for me in the film. So overall I like the chemistry, but that's where I felt it was different from the book, is that it was just too it was too obvious, and it was too obvious too soon.
That's fair. That's fair. Yeah, like in the trip to Canada, which is their first trip, it was very obvious.
Yeah.
And I felt like at that point it should have been less so.
Yeah. There just wasn't enough build of
up.
that.
Yeah. Which I think in general is my biggest criticism of the film, and we'll talk about that a little bit. But I agree. I think they had good chemistry together on the screen. I think in some scenes more than others. Like when they're dancing in New Orleans, like,
oh yeah, that was fun.
Great also, chemistry.
The blue hair, solid.
She looked amazing in that wig. I was like, really yes, did. Girl. This should be your hair.
Yeah.
That scene, or the scene where she shows up for the wedding and he's like looking at her when she first walks in that little like chartreuse dress.
Yeah.
Also killer. The wardrobe, whoever the wardrobe department is in this film, I really appreciated.
Yeah.
And really represented, I think, like Poppy's quirkiness and personality as well in a lot of things. But I felt those moments were like solid as far as their chemistry. And then there was other moments like when they kind of have this confrontation in the hotel room where they have sex for the first time, or right before that.
Yeah, in the rain.
It just felt like forced and awkward. And I'm like,
Yeah.
So,
I agree.
And again, that kind of goes back what you were saying in The Housemaid, how directing plays a big part of that. Oh, and it's like, here's your line, hit your place.
Yeah. Yes. But I also think that is a byproduct of the fact that there just wasn't enough dynamics in from when they were just like
dynamite
from of building that tension to that moment like it did in the book.
Yeah.
For a bunch of reasons, and I don't know if you have a question on that, so I'll hold my thoughts on that. But
yeah, we can move on. So how do you feel the film handled the alternating timelines? Did it enhance the story or make it more confusing for you?
So I think visually they did a good job of swapping timelines. I understood when they were going back in time versus what was present, but I didn't feel like there was a huge time gap between when we were looking at the past and when we were watching the present. And so while I understood visually that we were going back in time, they looked very much the same. They still acted very much the same. And that didn't play out for me.
Yeah, I totally agree. I think that the very first one is the Canada trip, which is their first trip together, which I think might be the first one they flash back in the book. I'm not sure. But it feels like their friendship is just like and again, at this point, they have been friends for a while now, but it feels the same after 10 years as it did in 2 or 3 or whatever that first one was. Yeah. So I agree with you. And I get that these actors are playing themselves from 10 years back. And I wouldn't expect them to like age, significantly, but different haircuts or just like anything.
Behavior,
like maybe, the glasses could have been like a good, represent, I don't know, like change in appearance or something. And it felt like, we're just going back and playing myself from 10 years ago.
Yeah. Yep. And I could understand if I was like 2 years ago or 3 years ago. Yeah. But when you're talking about 10 years is a long freaking time.
Yeah.
And they were in college or, whatever. And
they were in college. Yeah.
Yeah. So, there just wasn't enough separation there visually.
I do agree with you as far as like how it was represented. Like it wasn't confused. I thought it was great. And it was almost like they were talking about something and then one of them would have like a flashback or whatever. And
Yeah.
I thought that worked.
Yep, I agree.
So did the miscommunication feel more frustrating in the movie than in the book?
I don't. No, I don't think so. I mean, I wasn't like overly frustrated with it in the book either. So I, I don't know. Maybe it just kind of a similar answer with the movie that it just didn't feel funny. Like I did at one point think the book was maybe a little drawn out with like 10 years is a long time to cover and, you know, all these different summer trips that they took and then before it reached that point. But I also, on the flip side, I feel like you needed it in order to appreciate the culmination or climax of the moment when they actually like
The climax of the moment.
real and yes, pun intended. So I don't know. I mean, you're the one that really despises overly long,
Yes,
drawn
I
out
do.
miscommunication. So
I think it goes back to what you were saying. There were some points on film where it was so obvious they were both thinking the same thing, and yet no one wanted to break and say, I have feelings for you. This is more than a friendship for me. Like I want you in a way that like I have said I didn't, or whatever the case, whatever they were feeling in that moment.
yeah.
I want to kiss you. It felt very obvious on screen as they're looking into each other's beautiful eyes. And I'm like, just fucking say it. So it
But
was slightly more frustrating for me, I guess.
I get it, but I can also understand that like if they have this really powerful friendship, I could understand the reservation to not want to
Mm-mm.
risk that.
Taylor Swift says ruin the friendship.
Oh, well, if she says
Yep.
it, then amen.
Exactly. Better that than to regret it for all time. Come on.
Fair. I'm just saying I understood it, not saying I agreed with it.
Agree with
saying
it.
I understood it. So, anywho.
Was there a moment where the movie simplified something that felt more complex on the pages?
No.
Oh, totally disagree with that. The
Hit
New
me.
York trip. The
Oh,
New York trip for me
okay.
is a big point in their relationship.
Okay.
And it was like 2 minutes on screen. That's it.
Oh, I saw. Okay. So when you say simplify, that's what you meant. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, like I just felt like it wasn't, to me, it represents what I had said this in our book discussion, that is a moment where I would rather be doing anything with you. It doesn't really matter. I would rather be taking care of you when you're sick and have a fever and whatever than go on this amazing vacation, because that amazing vacation does not have you there. So it's the you and it's not the what.
Sure.
And I just felt like that represented especially how Alex feels about her. And it did. I literally was like 2, maybe 5 minutes, but it was nothing on the screen.
Truth.
So was the big reveal of what went wrong on their Croatia trip, which was Tuscany on the film for no reason at all, was that more effective in the book or the movie?
I gotta say the book. I think the book was more effective, though. It all kind of ties to the same theme that there wasn't enough dynamics in the movie to make me appreciate these impactful moments from the book. And like even from the very beginning of the film where she's talking to David about his wedding, and I'm like, that didn't happen right away. And it wasn't the trip that they had this big revelation was a separate trip for the two of them, not the wedding trip. Like the wedding trip was separate in the book.
No,
it wasn't. It was Palm Springs. You're right. It was Palm Springs.
Yeah, it was just Palm Springs, and it's Barcelona in the film.
That's right. Yeah, I guess that's probably my answer. Is the book was just more enjoyable for those ways because there was more tension, there was more dynamics, and there was more just like appreciation for the reveals and the big moments than there was in the film.
Yeah. The film does it differently. So we see, instead of the pregnancy scare itself, and then Alex ends up going get a vasectomy because he's like scared shitless and kind of changes how he feels about things after the trip. We see in film that she has that pregnancy scare. She tries to kiss Alex and he's like, "What are you doing? Like, what am I to you?" And he gives her this moment. He gives her the opportunity to say, "I have feelings for you," or "This isn't just a friendship." And she doesn't take that opportunity. And that's when he proposes to Sarah. So that doesn't happen in the book. It happens on the film. But I didn't hate that because I think it is a quick way to show how Alex was feeling. Like, I'm never going to get what I want from you. I gave you the opportunity and you chose to not say the thing. I need to move on. That's what Alex is saying when he proposes to Sarah in my mind. I need to move on. So I felt that was different, but I felt like it worked on screen.
That's fair. I think what I was maybe alluding to was in the book, the whole Palm Springs Airbnb disaster and how that heat and exhaustion built into the tension.
And figurative.
Yeah. And how that built into the tension, how she like planned all these special things for them to do as a way to sort of like reconnect. And that was just all really missing from the movie.
That's very true.
And I felt like you needed that in order to reach the precipice of when they actually admit that they have feelings for each other. And that just wasn't there. Yeah.
I guess my question was specifically what went wrong in Croatia. Yeah. But while you're talking about it, the Palm Springs trip again, which is Barcelona in the movie, and the problem with the AC is present, but that the place they stay
was nothing like the book.
The things that happened, the heat, like all those things I thought were just so precious in the book, and they don't happen. And like, here's one where he has the back spasm on the film. Didn't need to happen at all.
Totally. At all.
Didn't need to happen at all.
The next morning he went for a run. I'm like, no, that had no impact on this.
No.
Yeah.
So in the book, they're in this like tiny Airbnb. The air conditioning isn't working. They're in Palm Springs. It's whatever, 90 plus degrees, and there's no
Shitty
AC.
car.
And he has the back spasm then, and then she's forced to go like take care of him and do all those things. And she's like, "This is fine. Like, I would rather be doing this." Like, that was a special moment where in the film, it just like didn't need to happen. It felt like one of these forced things where like, we have to put his back spasm in. And it's like, why? It didn't need to happen at all.
Yeah. Yep. Agreed. Which we know were plenty of moments like that in The Housemaid that drove us bonkers. But in this one, it was...
Yeah, there were fewer here.
Yeah, there were fewer here. Yep. Agreed.
So did the ending feel more satisfying in the movie, or did the book handle it better?
Again, I'm going to go with the book on this one. I didn't dislike the film and how it ended and how they adapted it, but I definitely preferred the book version. The scene at the wedding in the film where they just confess their love for one another, they just had sex, they go to this wedding and everyone's happy, they're like holding hands, and then on the dance floor it just felt like a big switch for Alex to his reaction.
I don't agree with that.
It just didn't work.
I mean, specifically at the end. So in the book, they leave Palm Springs and not speaking to each other again. Poppy goes home and has to reconcile her shit.
Yeah.
And
goes
to therapy, like quits her job, like all those things. And remember, Alex is in Ohio. He's a teacher.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Yeah. Okay. I'm still going to stick with my same answer though. Like, I still think the book worked better. I thought it was like in the book when she had to force herself to go back to the high school where she swore she'd never step back in, which again was a thing I could totally relate to in that scenario.
But you actually did recently.
I know I did. didn't totally hate it. And then she had to like sort of force this confession in front of his colleagues at the bar across the street.
Yeah.
Like that felt more impactful than running him down, and which I don't think she would have been able to do personally, but
he gets stopped at a light.
that's anyway, so like I still think the book was better. I didn't dislike the film, but I thought the book was better. So.
Yeah, I completely agree. I think the book just represents, Poppy having to do something that's really uncomfortable for her. Is outgoing and extroverted as she is, like having to grapple and acknowledge your feelings is something that she doesn't do very well. So when she has to talk to Sarah, or she decides to talk to Sarah, and then she, like you said, goes to the bar and has to do that, like that's a big moment for her. In the film, I actually really like how her and Sarah have that moment. I really like that.
I did too. Yeah.
And
it sort of showed Sarah choosing a path for herself then too.
Right.
And like being like, you're right, that's not what I needed or wanted either. And this is something I'm following like I wanted to do or whatever.
Right. Like, and I like how she said, like, I spent a lot of time, blaming you, and that if you weren't there, like all my problems would go away. And at the end of the day, Poppy wasn't there, and she's like, it made it worse.
It actually got worse.
Yeah. So it wasn't working for Sarah either. But yeah, her chasing him down, which I knew was going to happen because they had the other moment where, he couldn't hear because he had his noise canceling headphones in and he was going on a run. As soon as I was like, oh, she's going to have to chase him down, because they had said a couple times in the book, like, she hates running.
I hate running. Yeah.
And so when she gets caught up with him finally, and she's like, it's like, I actually kind of wish it went on a little longer to make it even funnier.
Yeah. She's like, give me a minute. Just give me a minute.
Right. Like I kept waiting for that, like her to say something and then be like, and, like say something else.
Yeah.
I did think it was cute and it was good for the medium, but I agree that like the book was better and just had longer to do it as well. So yeah.
Good stuff.
Okay, it's that moment. Do you have any final thoughts on the book or the film? Would you recommend both or either to our listeners? If you don't have one, I have one.
Yeah, I don't know that I do. So
just like something you're like enjoyed in the book and then that translated well on film for you and you're like, oh, that was really sweet, or that was great, or I mean, I think we've said the cast is good.
The cast is good. Maybe the New Orleans trip when they're dancing at the bar. But I don't know what. All right, hit me with your best shot.
Molly Shannon and Alan Ruck as her parents, and that scene, oh my gosh, dead. The condom scene, dead. And then this doesn't actually, we don't even get this in the book because again, we only get Poppy's POV, but the conversation that Alex has with her dad.
Oh,
and Alex thinks he's talking about his first time flying, and the dad thinks he's talking about having sex for the first time.
That was, you're right. I forgot.
What
about
do you think we're talking about?
Yeah.
We don't need condoms because we don't do that, and we don't need 500 because we're not an army.
Not an army.
I just thought that was such a cute scene, and that's exactly how I pictured her parents. Like total hippies, total like love is love, and live your life.
Kind of wish we would have got more of them in the film, honestly.
Yeah, I actually agree.
So anyway, back to the final thoughts. I would definitely recommend the book and the film. I definitely enjoyed the film. I don't know which I would recommend to do first.
The book.
Because it's such a different experience both ways. Like in Housemaid and this one, read the book before seeing the movie, but like in episode 2 we did Shawshank, and like I've seen the movie before I read the book. So, and it's such a different experience depending on which one you consume first. So I don't know how I would I would probably say the book, but yeah,
Yeah.
it's just
I
so different.
always say
So,
the book.
yeah.
But that's fair that you can do it one way or the other. My niece just watched this film,
Yeah.
and I know she has the book because I bought it for her for Christmas. And I asked her if she was reading it, and she's like, I just saw the film, though. So I'm like, no, you still have to read it. It's not the
Yeah.
same.
Maybe she'll listen to this and
Yeah. She
want to go
better
read it
listen
then.
to this. I'm just
She
kidding.
better. Anyway, that's it for me. I assume it's very similar for you. You would recommend both.
Totally. I think that if you like rom-coms, if you like Emily Henry's other catalog of books, then you would enjoy this. If you've read her other books, you probably already read this. But if you enjoy other authors like Abby Jimenez or Ellie Hazelwood, then you would enjoy this. I think the film's cute. Like, there were things that I didn't love from watching or from reading the book to watching the film, but that's going to happen. But as far as like romantic comedy goes, it was cute. Like, it's worth watching.
Yeah, it is. A little flat, but it was cute.
Yeah, but like a lot of them are. I mean,
Yeah,
it's fine. We're
Fair
here
enough.
for the love. We're here for the happily ever after, and that's what we got.
It's true.
Well, we got 6 months later, whatever, 1 year later.
Yeah.
Who knows about happily ever? They have a dog, so obviously they're going to stay together for the life of that wiener. What was
the
name of
dog.
Well,
what was the name of the dog in the film?
Kenny G.
Oh yeah, the saxophone.
Kenny
That's
G.
right.
Name a song that has been improved by the saxophone. I can name 1,000. And that doesn't even count all of Kenny G's catalog.
Nicely done.
Well, we want to remind everyone that the next 2 books on our lineup are Regretting You by Colleen Hoover and The Great Gatsby by F. Scott Fitzgerald. And as always, don't forget that a free way to support our show is by leaving us a review and rating us on Apple Podcasts. Also, if you don't want to rate us, but you have a question or feedback on the show, you can email us at booksimakemyhusbandread@gmail.com. We would love to hear from you.
Indeed. And hey, I'm sure you've got book friends and book buddies and whatever and other book lovers in your circle. So tell them about the show too.
Yeah, and then drop us a message and we'll send your book club bookmarks.
Oh, yeah.
And anything
Send
else
some
that starts
swag.
with book. Well, I guess that's it.
It is. That is another one in the books and on the movie shelf.
Yes. Well, who knows? Maybe this will be the one your husband reads. Or watches.
We'll watch it. Okay, then. Love you. Bye-bye.
See ya.